Consumption of materials. Any product that is manufactured in a firm entails consumption of resources like material, labor, etc. The management for planning and control must know the cost of using these resources in manufacturing. The consumption of materials takes place, say, when the material is used in the manufacture of the product. It is important to note that the amount of materials consumed in a period by a cost object need not be equal to the amount of material available with the concern. For example, during any period the total of raw material stock available for use in production may not be equal to the amount of materials actually consumed and assigned to the cost object of the production. The difference between the material available and material consumed represents the stock of material at the end of the period. Identification of materials. For the identification of consumption of materials with products of cost centers, the following points should be noted. 1. It is required that the concern should follow coding system for all materials so that each material is identified by unique code number. 2. It is required that each product of a cost center should be given a unique code number so that the direct material issued for production of particular product of a cost center can be collected against the code number of that product. However, it may not be possible to allocate all materials directly to individual product of a cost center, for example, maintenance materials, inspection and testing materials, etc. The consumption of these materials are collected for cost center and then charged to individual product by adopting suitable overhead absorption rate of cost center. Overhead absorption rate of cost center equals cost for cost center base relating to cost center. For example, labor hours or machine hours. 3. Each issue of materials should be recorded. One way of doing this is to use a material requisition note. This note shows the details of materials issued for product of cost center and the cost center which is to be charged with cost of materials. 4. A material return note is required for recording the excess materials returned to the store. This note is required to ensure that original product of cost center is credited with the cost of material which was not used and that the stock records are updated. 5. A material transfer note is required for recording the transfer of materials from one product of cost center to other or from one cost center to other cost center. 6. The cost of materials issued would be determined according to stock valuation method used. Monitoring consumption of materials. For monitoring consumption of materials, a storekeeper should periodically analyze the various material requisitions, material return notes and material transfer notes. Based on this analysis, a material abstracts or material issue analysis sheet is prepared, which shows at a glance the value of material consumed in manufacturing each product. This statement is also useful for ascertaining the cost of material issued for each product. Basis for consumption entries in financial accounts. Every manufacturing organization assigns material costs to products for two purposes. Firstly, for external financial accounting requirements, in order to allocate the material costs incurred during the period between cost of goods produced and inventories. Secondly, to provide useful information for managerial decision-making requirements. In order to meet external financial accounting requirements, it may not be necessary to accurately trace material costs to individual products. Some products' costs may be overstated and others may be understated, but this may not matter for financial accounting purposes as long as total of individual materials costs transactions are recorded, that is, transactions between cost center within the firm are recorded in a manner that facilitates analysis of costs for assigning them to cost units. The consumption entries in financial accounts are made on the basis of total cost of purchases of materials after adjustment for opening and closing stock of materials. The stock of materials is taken at cost or net realizable value, whichever is less. Thank you.